Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for registering and being here today at our Video Content Workshop 101. I am Samantha from the Council on Culture and Arts, and this is Ben Fox with BlindCAN Studios. And we are going to be guiding you today as we all have a fun adventure on creating video content. So, Ben, do you want to give a little introduction about yourself?
Absolutely, I'd love to. Before I do that, can I ask you, Samantha, what it was that inspired you to create this workshop and what video means to you?
I'll first answer the latter part. When I was in high school, I always dreamed about being a director of music videos. I would sit in my car, and my car knew my parents. And when I was supposed to be cleaning it, I would look into the mirrors that, the display, and I would pretend I was singing to the music video. And then I would look into the car, other mirror when I thought I wanted the camera to switch angles. So I always was very interested in directing videos from that perspective. So when the last 3 years, specifically at the start of quarantine in the pandemic, I actually was a part of this theater, which we found that we're here today. There's no, reason for that. But I was a producer for their show, and we had to switch all of our on stage to virtual because of the pandemic. So I had to quickly start to learn how to create video content. I had to learn how to write a video shot list. I had to learn how to make an audio shot list. And then I also had to not only learn that myself, but also teach other people who had not actually held a camera or had been on, most of us hadn't been on Zoom before, but had not used a video call or used the camera on their smartphone or had a smartphone. So I had to also educate a lot of people in that. So since then, teaching people how to use the resources that they have, whether or not that's in a smartphone that they own, or the resources of knowing someone that has one, and making everyone understand we can all be directors in our lives and create stories that last well past one moment on stage. So. Thank you. Did that answer the questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Good story. I was going to apply to teach it more to students. I'm just really happy to work with COCA, first of all, and working with Samantha is really fun. Being here in this theater is very good because I am a huge fan, and I hope to one day be in a play here in the house, on the stage. It's just a thing for us. And for those of you here, thank you for being interested in video and for supporting the arts and also believing that, making work well videos is important. Thanks for having courage and faith to just create content because it's a powerful medium to express yourself in. Can I ask, I'm legally blind, I have a little tunnel vision, so could I ask everybody to say hello?
Hello.
There's some more people here than I was thinking. That makes me happy, guys. So the size of this group is ideal for what we want to do today because in more than being interactive, at certain points there's going to be a slide up that says, let's practice what we just learned. Everything is very simple. I've got 4 points we're going to talk about today. Each of the points, I have 3 points about them, right? The first thing I'm going to talk about, though, is energy. I'm going to talk about energy first, and I'm going to tell you a little about my story of blind filmmakers because I tap into this energy of my mission as a blind filmmaker, as a blind can films. Anytime, if I'm ever having an opportunity to talk to people, whether it's a person on a stage, whether it's through the stage of the camera, because this is a stage and a microphone, hold on. I have enough vision to see. I have the camera pointing at you guys. Okay. I was messing with it, guys. How does that look now? You guys can't even see. Talking up here. Hi, everybody. So, this is more of a prop than anything. I like to be accessible on the camera at any time. So I have this tripod. I have a little phone holder here. I have a microphone that I can hook up to this to talk into. It gives me crystal clear sound. I have just the gear that I think you easily have access to right now, which is your phone. Anybody that's got a phone bought in the last 2 years, you have a better camera in your hand than any filmmaker that bought a camera under $5,000 5 years ago. In your pocket. And when I realized that, it was mind-boggling. And then when I realized that the points we're going to talk about today, in less than 1 hour, just having those little thoughts in your mind will make you guys a powerhouse media team of one, or if you buddy up, two, with what you have in your pocket. I've got a few short video clips to share. I'd love to email you this list of 5 short little videos that you can refer back to. It'll keep all the tips we talked about first today. Without further energy. The first most important thing about telling a story or sharing a message, in my opinion, is that people that are hearing or experiencing your message actually believe that you believe what you're saying. And if you're going to share a message that I think that you probably believe in it, that's why you're sharing it. You probably believe it's important for other people to hear it. And in this day and age of media creation, it's important to me that I create media that I actually have passion for. So with the energy, I just remember that. And when I press record, what I love about the camera is out of respect to anybody that will experience this media at any point in time in the history of the future forever, because it's online. I hope they feel this energy right now. And that's how I can tap into it. It's that simple. Legally blind filmmaker. When I was 18 years old, I lived back west in Utah. And I didn't realize what a big deal Sundance Film Festival was. They're 40 years old this year. And back then, this is the year 2000, we didn't have YouTube, we wouldn't for years. And the only kind of cameras that you could film on had actual tape in them. And you could maybe import them to the computer if you could find the right stuff and cook it all up and you knew how to do it. My gosh. And I was going to an alternative high school. Again, I love Nikki Faust. Woo! Because Nikki Faust loved the high school I went to. I will just say I think that smoke-free is the way to go. We had a smoking section in a high school in Utah because kids kept on going off campus and getting arrested in the middle of school and like dropping out of high school for a joke. So they let us slide. And one day there was this bulletin up on the bulletin board. And again, the energy of the BlindCAN having the message. And again, I'm in Utah, and this is a quick story, and it's kind of interesting. And then we'll talk more about what we're doing today. And this bulletin says, do you want to be a filmmaker? It's as easy as pushing record. And I was like, and then underneath it, a teacher put a note and said, by the way, we have a camera, just ask me if you want to check it out. And so I decided I was going to check it out. I was able to have it for an afternoon. I was young, precocious, and had so much fun. And I just literally decided I'm going to do what's from my heart. No planning, no shot list. And that's one thing I was going to talk to you guys about. I was originally intimidated by all the things that could be involved in making films. Some of the best stuff that I've ever seen. There's just people, friends especially, with heart, a camera, they can press record. So I did that. I went outside to the smoking section of Valley High School in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I pressed record. And I thought about what's the most sassy, precocious question I could ask that would get people's attention that are going to watch this for 3 minutes. And I said, I found a person, by the way, in Utah. Most people that I knew 20 some odd years ago had really short cropped hair and no beards. And I found a student who was about maybe 17, but a big shaggy beard, really long hair, and he was smoking a cigarette. And I panned out to the high school's name. It just so happened to be, I kind of blurted that out of respect of. And I said, by the way, this is a framing 101 lesson that you can frame people like before you actually press record on your camera and get an idea. So zooming in, zooming out. We'll talk a little more about that. And I go, big hairy person, by the way, in Utah. I said, who or what is God? I'm going to ask everyone here that question. I hand around. And everybody stayed there until teachers came and said to me in class. And it was one of the most interesting, and it was way longer than 3 minutes. It was the most interesting behind the scenes cut. Oh my gosh. And then I spliced a little thing together, and I had the best time ever. And I forgot about it after I put the mail. And the Sundance people called me up. And they started a program called Gen Y Filmmakers for 18-year-olds and only 18-year-old filmmakers. And they picked 700 people. And we were the first class. They've done this ever since. First class ever to have little short films and training for a whole summer with real filmmakers, real cameras, real computers, and it was really awesome. And you know, we had all our films at the film festival. We learned about shotless and all that. And because I learned about all that, I thought to myself, man, filmmaking is so much work. And then all of a sudden, I mean, like 2 weeks after the film festival, I had eye surgeries, both my eyes, that's all compared to the one. I started doing that, and I moved on to film. And again, I'm bringing this all the way back to energy. So I'm about to show you, if I didn't tell you that story ahead of time, you might be like, Samantha, who's this guy you brought in here? So, if we could please take a look at this next clip, it says energy.
Yeah, baby! Tony Robbins, unleash the power within. It's your boy B Fox. Big shit for life, baby. Nothing but love. No limits to the blind date. No limits to the worldwide.
So, from the start to finish, I love flow state. If something is a little bit out of your comfort zone, but not too hard, and you can do it, you want to keep doing it, and you enjoy it, you might hope that this process can be that for you. There's always something to learn, but remember, it's always really easy. That being said, the energy up, let's go. Having fun shows through the screen. Having fun makes things easier. It's easiest to have fun when you feel confident in yourself. And so with these few steps, without further ado, please have confidence after this workshop. Can you please go to the next slide? Video frame. One, there's something called rule of thirds. Everybody can stake their hand, go like this. You can pick anything or anybody, I hope everybody's cool, somebody frames you in, and put whatever you're looking at in 1/3. It could be on the left or the right. In a minute, we're going to do this with your phones, pointing at each other. And you can zoom in and zoom out. If it's a person, think about headspace. You don't want like this much, you want like this much, right? And you don't want like this much on both sides, or awkwardly in one of like the middle sides. You want to be in one of the thirds, a little bit of space on your shoulder. All right? Without further ado, I'd love to just show you this really quick clip, and then I'd love you to practice. And practicing, I'm going to actually sit down for a second and ask Samantha to help us with the introductions.
Here are 3 tips for better framing and composition in your video. Imagine a 3x3 grid on top of any image. You should align the key elements in the image according to this grid at the power points where the lines intersect or along with the vertical and horizontal lines. Leading lines are the tangible or intangible lines in the frame created by things like roads, buildings, signs, arrows, or light in the background that lead the viewer's eye in a particular direction. Going hand in hand with the rule of thirds is the concept of balance. A super simple way to think of this is to imagine a seesaw in the middle of your frame. A subject positioned frame left with nothing on the right feels imbalanced to the eye. The same is true for a subject in the foreground with nothing in the back. This can be mitigated by making sure something visually interesting or relevant to the story you're telling is complementing the opposite side that your subject is placed in. Are there any other framing tricks you utilize that we forgot to mention? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Nick with B&H. Stay creative.
The rule of thirds, and the reason that I bring that up and is one of the tips, it's just so simple, and your eye notices subconsciously whether it's a comfortability factor. Marketing people spend a lot of time, a lot of effort making sure the rule of thirds show up, or if they choose to break it, they do so on purpose. And just with that little bit of knowledge that you just got now, you can improve everything you do. I chose that particular example because they did most of it in like the new TikTok, right, Instagram. You know, I'm old school, I did everything landscape. But this whole vertical thing, right? And a couple things I'm going to point out on that before moving on to the thing we're going to do. Imagine what you're framing, and I didn't say it yet, but what's in your frame? Okay? If you're doing rule of thirds right now, and I'm standing here, right? You might want to include this whole slideshow, but it's going to be a little bit awkward. You don't really have a good third if you're trying to get this whole slideshow in, if you're getting me2, right? So what I would do if I was framing this shot, if I didn't need all the information, I would get mid up, right? From like stomach to about 6 inches above the head, and whatever I could of the slideshow. And at some point, I'd zoom all the way out to include some of the slide, if I wanted to get really technical enough. But really, 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 you want to be seeing emotion on the person's face. And that's, in my opinion, and like a little bit of research I've done, so I found on Instagram and TikTok, that's why it's a vertical thing. It takes out a lot of that thought about what else is in this rule of thirds, right? Because it's up and down. Think about what you're wearing though. You got your phone out like this, right? Are you showing above your head? How high above your head? You know, are you showing what's on your shirt? I have a really good friend, quick story, he asked me to come in and I won't tell you where, but somewhere in Tallahassee, and film them with this new thing they got at their business. Awesome, super excited. They were really excited about the thing. They even had a whole script ready to go. We'll talk about that in a second. Scripting, storyboarding is super easy. And I show up and this person has a Budweiser King of Beer shirt. I like Budweiser. I'm from Salt Lake City. I like Budweiser. And I said to him, I said, for the particular thing we're talking about, you think you might want to change your shirt? And super confident, but you're like, no, it's fine. I'm all ready to go. I'm excited. People don't care what I'm wearing. And I'm not going to argue with my friend, especially not in that context. It's sure, record it, edit it, give it back to this person. They said to me, Ben, I loved it. I think we could do it again. I just can't send that to all my friends and family, business colleagues that are wearing that Budweiser shirt. So what's in your frame? You know, I'm legally blind, and I have a friend that I'm doing some video work with. I'm excited to show you some examples of that. And we go out to do some filming, and I had some toothpaste on my shirt. I had no idea. Again, confidence. I just have to do it. So, but it's good to know. So sometimes if it's something that's real serious, I know for the blind, I'll photograph myself and I'll send it to somebody that cares about me and say, oh, about to go film. Same. So, what's in your frame? Without further ado, I'd like to ask Samantha if we could go to the next slide and we can talk about this project that I'd like to do.
We're going to do an introductory video with each other. You're going to partner up, and you are going to record the other person, and it's going to probably be about 30 seconds. You're going to ask each other 3 questions. Who are you? Where are you at? And what are you doing? We're going to spend about 5 minutes on this activity. And what you're going to take what we learned about the framing. You're going to see what's in the person's shot. You're going to make sure, like, okay, that the toilet isn't right behind them. And if it is, that the lid is down. Maybe that would be a good thing to do. Or maybe your message is about something that's camp, and having the toilet seat up would influence what you're saying. So just think about those things. And we're going to spend about 5 minutes on doing that.
Well, and just worry about, but no worries. Have fun with framing, and everything else is the next slide.
Yeah.
So if you record with the volume down, you have volume down, or if you record?
You know, on the phones, for the most part, it just has an automatic setting. That's what I love, and the companies that made these phones for us have spent so much time for auto settings. Unless you're doing like expert pro stuff, whatever it says auto, I trust the auto settings. Yeah, and so for recording, it's just going to be an audio. When you play it back, that's when you can change the volume you play it at. But add one more detail though, next week, we're going to go to an editing software that's free from your phone that you can change the volume in the editing software. So if you record it from your phone, you're like, can I make that buzz be better? Can I make it louder when someone else plays it? Yes. From your phone. Would be great. Sound. Made simple. Yeah, simple sound. It's like, it's so interesting how much different you'll feel about watching something and staying with it, especially in today's day and age with so many options, if it sounds clear. And you don't even quite realize how much just more safe and at ease you feel because something sounds clear. You can cut pace intentionally without bands. Without further ado, we can play this real quick clip. we'll talk about afterwards.
Things sound pretty good right now, but this was not always the case. In this same spot, using the same recording equipment and the same microphone, things did not sound so good. I remember it well. Okay, I'm ready to start shooting my video. Or am I? The sound is pretty bad. We'd better start fixing things if we want anyone to take us seriously. The sound is distorted. This is because the recording levels is set too high. Let's fix both these things by setting levels so my voice is bouncing around minus 18 dB. Green LEDs, no red ones. Better. Okay, maybe just a little bit better. Maybe it's because the mic is backed by the camera, and the power of my voice bouncing off the walls is almost as loud as my voice itself. Let's bring the mic in closer and see what happens. Wow, what a big difference that made. The room echo is much less, and I don't need subtitles anymore. Do we sound great yet? Not quite. The room echo is still out of control. Even though I'm not in an acoustically designed space, there's a lot of things I can do with just what I have lying around to improve things. But let's add some stuff back and see what happens. That made a difference, didn't it? It was not only visually boring in this room, it sounded terrible. Now I've returned all the furniture and knickknacks I'd removed to make my point, but I added back other things as well, because even what sounds like a normal room to our ears still sounds kind of echoey to a microphone. I tried to cover everywhere there was a hard, flat surface with every soft, plush object I could find. Turns out there's an actual use for throw pillows. So we're done, right? Wait, what's all that noise? Have a listen. Oh, it's been getting stuffy in here. In between takes, I turned on the ventilation system and I forgot to turn it off. Let's do that now. Now we sound good, even very good, but we don't sound great yet. What you're hearing is just raw production sound. We're not talking about post-production today, but it's worth mentioning that the final sheen of great sound comes during editing. Let's see what that sounds like. Now my voice sounds full and clear also, because I've used equalization and dynamic compression that complements my particular voice. I've applied some mild noise reduction to sound as professional as possible and used limiting to achieve good loudness levels. Sounds like I'm ready to make my video.
Did you notice that guitar was in frame the entire time we didn't play it until the very last 15 seconds? Right. That's intentional. That was a powerful piece. Oh, so much was said. And I love and appreciate that somebody, probably a team of people, took the time to make a powerful, memorable YouTube video for us. So I'd say in that spirit, let's do the same. So with sound, what sounds are in the room? We become noise blind to all sorts of stuff. Now, you think about anytime you're on a Zoom call with somebody and an airplane goes by, so noticeable, so noticeable. And you don't quite realize it yourself. You're in a place with a lot of airplanes when you have a fan that's going, right? And if a bunch of us are talking, like, everybody, let's quiet on set. Everybody quiets down. You don't even notice the fan until we're in post. And you can hear the fan at about 20% of the volume of people talking. People's talking over. It makes such a world difference. So if you're actually going to put out content in the world and you care about the final result, take a few seconds, and I literally mean 5 seconds, and you go filming. I actually go ahead and do a check. I'm going to do it now. This is if you have the luxury for it. There's more than one kind of film. If you're doing events, if you're on the scene and you're in a wedding and stuff like that, you're not going to ask the bride and groom and the priest and whoever that's there going, can you guys do a sound check for me quick? Hold on. It's really just, that's a different kind of filming. Today, and what we're learning about, it's making a couple of assumptions that you have 15 minutes of time. You can do a quick check. You have the ability to maybe find a room that's quiet. So now press record. talking my normal voice here, and as I talk, this fan is gonna go off. When I press play back, you're gonna notice a huge difference already. And one of the things that I've noticed just by doing this so much is like, there's a sense of urgency that actually shows up in your voice. You're trying to talk over anything else. You don't even quite notice it. Yeah, and as a person who's blind, I notice that kind of thing a lot. So in a second, I'm gonna go ahead and press stop on this, and this would be my sound check. And I would even go as far as to take 5 seconds of complete silence after I saw how my voice played with other sounds. What do you hear? I can hear a fan from the computer. I can hear some kind of humming from over here. That's probably from outside. You can't necessarily do anything about that. This microphone on your phone already has, if you have a Mac or an Apple phone even, or an Android from the last 2 years, it's got noise stabilization stuff in it. It will, because that's coming from outside, I'm saying it weird, but your phone's smarter than we are. They're so smart, and it knows that's from outside and not inside. I'm telling you, these things will edit that out for you. So without further ado, I'm just loving these new phones, guys, for filmmaking.
Yes.
We will send you guys all a link with recommended microphones that you can buy for like $25 that you can plug into your phone so it'll enhance everything. Hold on, why not? Did you guys notice it?
Yeah.
It's not that one more time. And by the way, I wasn't planning on saying anything about the sense of urgency other than I was like reaching over a loud sound, and then people can sense it on the other side of the camera. So now press record. Talking right now, voice here, and as I talk, this fan is going to go off. When I press play back, you're going to notice a huge difference already. And one of the things that I've noticed just by doing this so much is like there's a sense of urgency that actually shows up in your voice. Who would say that just that fast we improved that video 5%? 5%. So then if we want to take another 5 seconds and really make a pristine sound space, we could. Now you don't need to do that if you're just going to make a quick vlog and just turn off that one fan, breaking a sweat, time to put it back on, move on to your life. That's my whole point with this whole thing, guys. It's like, it can be as simple as that. Thank you so much, man. And so, why wouldn't a person having that knowledge go ahead and make a better quality video? And now, you're always going to be listening every time somebody's video is playing. Is there a fan? They could have turned it off. Where is the microphone? If you were here a little bit early, or on time, and like, saw me doing this, where am I putting this relative to where I'm at? Originally, I thought about standing on this side of the stage, so far from the microphone. And secondly, your phone's got two sides. One of the sides has a microphone. Just the difference of the angle of where it's pointing. So if I'm standing here, the microphone's pointing that way, and I'm talking to this end optimally, which is why I had it pointing. You guys can watch me there. I had the camera this way. I'm talking into this. I'm directional. I know it doesn't sound like it's going to make that much difference. That's a huge amount of difference. Just the direction of where I'm at. Just having the microphone even that much closer versus like that. So keep that in mind, and with that little tiny bit of thought about that, you can set up your rule of thirds, and that's why people with TikTok and like that, when they're talking like this, it sounds pretty freaking good. Because they're looking at this phone, and they're talking in this direction to the microphone. Keep that in mind. I love landscape, so I would pick up my phone like this, and I like it to make it look like my hairline's a little bit lower, so I'm purposely, if I'm doing it like this and I'm doing a selfie thing, I'll cut off the top of my head, and I'm talking directly to this microphone. And I'm showing you a third of the screen that doesn't have me in it, but I have enough tunnel vision. I'm like, I know I'm showing you what I want to see, what's behind me. It's all very thought out. And I'll do a quick 3-minute little check. I'll find my shot, and there I go. But people have always asked me, like, how do you do that blind? And I'll tell you, it's just repetition. I'm just so used to it now.
Just on that voice level note, you'll notice in your videos, that's even like taking what he said into account, that certain people were able to be heard more. And I think, you know, your microphone is important, but also just being aware of your own personal volume. So when you play that back, could you have spoken a little louder? Could you have articulated a little bit more? Just like playing that back, and it's like when you were in a class and you had to practice your speech and you didn't want to do it, but you were told you had to, doing that in order to learn how to articulate. One thing that I pride myself in sometimes is I have been told that I bust out mics, and I do. They're like, please do not stand next to the mic. We are only going to hear you. Do not stand next to the mic. And so it's also your own personal volume. And I try to like challenge myself on like, how much am I going to really need this mic today without making it sound like I'm screaming. So I've just only slightly increased my volume. But if I really wanted to increase my volume, that makes it sound like I'm sounding over the AC. But really just articulating, opening your mouth so that the sound has a place to travel. So that's just a personal speaking note that also comes into fact with your sound of your recording. But yeah.
I guess when the time is right, I do want to ask about the microphones and like I have one now that plugs into my phone, but it doesn't go too far. So I do want to get one that you know, like the people hold in their hands, like the cordless ones. So that's really, I just want to, I'd like to get some recommendations if possible, like, you know, how to do that so that, you know, because my voice doesn't carry, and how do I, you know, and even for the people I might be talking with, yeah.
I've got a great recommendation for you. If you've got a budget of $200, you can get a pretty good system. You can get an extender cord for what you've already got. And I prefer to have the cord. I really do, because there's so much wireless information through the air, and through the wire, especially if you're on the go, you're only getting one shot. You know what I mean? So I would recommend wire. I'd buy an extender, and you can go a long way with that. But I'll definitely have one for a $200 wireless device, which is pretty freaking cool. It's just a lot of, you know, it's spec with the wireless device.
There's also, I have like a audio recorder that I'll place it close to me, like in the shot near where I'm like, if I'm shooting a video or filming, I'll place it so it's close to me, but it doesn't actually look like I'm using a mic.
Okay.
And you can take that and then export that into wherever you want to. It depends. I can send you that.
Okay.
As well.
So like if I was doing like, if I use Snapchat to make my video, and then I can use what you're talking about and put it together.
Yeah, that requires some extra advanced post editing stuff.
Okay.
That will go through basic post first. But the recorder I'm talking about is like probably only $15-20.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think this lady right here is the best describer of like, let's see, she's like 1 minute, she says it all.
I got 3 tips for better lighting if you are into live streaming with a webcam. Tip number 1, check what is behind you. If there is a window, move somewhere else. Lights should be always in front, never behind, or you will end up with a very dark face and overexposed background. Tip number 2, avoid using only one light and placing it too high or too low. You will end up with dark shadows on your face or background. Use multiple light sources from different angles. Balance the light. Tip number 3, don't make the light too bright. It can wash out your face and it's just not going to look good. Add only a bit of a light, and if you don't have a softbox, use wax or tissue paper to soften the light. If you cannot lower the light, just move it further away from you. If you are interested in seeing in-depth review of this OpSpot tiny 4K webcam, I'll link it below.
so simple. The number one thing is ask yourself, where does the light come from? The light should be behind your camera. And the light should be coming towards your subject. So if you're filming someone else, the light's to your back, to the face of the person you're filming. If you're being filmed, you're looking at the light. Y'all, you gotta squint, it's get bright. But the whole idea is to find a nice, balanced lighting. So for example, if I'm trying to stand right here, this is like, if you've ever seen presentation videos, a lot of times the person's standing next to it, either they're blue because the screen, you know, they're standing in front of the projector, or they're really, really dark because the screen is bright. So that's just not an optimal place to have somebody stand if your objective is to film it. So what you'll see a lot of times is a podium like this with a spotlight dropped on that person, and the slide shows light to the side. You're going to see a two-camera setup. One camera zoomed in one person, one camera that's scattered far back that has the person small with the slideshow as the subject, right? But we're talking about just filming short videos for our businesses and for ourselves. So I just want to give you the idea of what that's like to try to like filming somebody when it makes something like that. So this is a window for all intents and purposes, right? So I could stand there filming you guys like that, and that's going to be pretty good lighting for me because I got light coming down from you up here. It's not the best lighting ever, but it sure is a lot better than trying to film somebody standing next to this with that hot light without somebody right here. This is really important. Just keep an eye out for really bright spots. You can't avoid something sometimes, like, you know, like the glare on a windshield or something like that. You might not realize it just with your normal eye that that's so bright because your brain filters a lot of that kind of stuff out, believe it or not. But you might have a really distracting glare in your video. You can't necessarily get rid of a glare off of something, but you can change your angle, and you can also change your frame to zoom in past the glare or to like zoom out to make the glare less noticeable. But guys, the number one tip, and this is just really the number one, is where is light coming from? The light comes from behind the camera to the face of the person. That's lighting, everybody. It's just that simple. I want to make it more complicated than it is. We have a really fun example. This is a 3-minute video from Dr. Mel. And when we very first started working together on her video projects, she was out there making videos, a bunch of them, with all the energy and all the heart in the world. And with a simple one-on-one lesson, all of her videos are having different framing now, different sound, and different light. To the point where we even said, we filmed this over Zoom, by the way. She called me up through Zoom, and she set up this whole stage herself, by herself, on the side of the road. And this is the coolest example I can think of show you. And she's here live, and we're redoing a whole entire video series for her, not redoing it, but creating a brand new, branded video series for her. That's what she's here for. And we're going to recreate tonight a new 3-minute video for her. And you guys are going to also create, at the end of this, we're going to branch off, and you're going to create a video here. We'll be here to help you, and help you out.
What is ink? It's the things that we say and do that make a mess. This is Dr. Mel, the squid lady.
We're gonna do some squid stuff. We're gonna do some, and this is it.
When people ask me, why squid? What is this about ink? But I realized that our emotional brain takes very little time to change color. We can go from everything being okay to everything being a mess really quick. What kind of a difference would pausing instead of reacting put in your life?
I ink and you ink at the same time, we've got a mess.
What is squid? Well, it starts with the 5 steps, a memorable acronym. Stop to ask questions to better understand. Can you imagine your choices, then decide on a plan? I have been teaching how to squid since 2013, so many different locations. And now I get to teach it wherever I am. I was teaching a group of 4th graders not too long ago, and I asked, after a couple of classes learning about squid, learning about quality of life, I asked, why is this important? And the most incredible response I got was that it helps with emotional problems. It helps us not hurt others. It helps us not hurt ourselves. That's why I do what I do. How to Squid Your Squid Brain. Can You Think Before You Ink? By Dr. Mellon, the Squid Minders. Whenever you feel like something is wrong, can you squid? Can you stop to ask questions to better understand? Can you imagine your choices, then decide on a plan? Who are the Squid Minders and who are we working with? We have Profesora Pulpo, who has done our Spanish translations and performing in Spanish.
Hola, soy la profesora Pulpo.
We have Dr. Philip Zimbardo, legend of psychology.
This is Dr. Phil Zimbardo with a special message for all the kids, parents, and teachers out there who could use a little help. You and your squid brain, can you think before you ink?
Co-author and helping us reach the world. And we are going everywhere we can reach, in person, online. How can we bring squid to you?
So what can you do when your squid starts to yelp? You could ask some good questions if you want to help. Could you try to distract it before it reacts? Could you cover your mouth before it attacks? Could you take a deep breath, count to 10, walk away, then ask your squid what it most needs to say? Can you stop to ask questions to better understand? Can you imagine your choices, then decide on a plan? Where can you go if you just need to hide? How can you help your squid cool off inside? Before you return from wherever you go, make a plan to come back and try to talk slow. Things might get messy if your feelings still hurt, but maybe good questions can stop a squid squirt. Now, I have a question I must ask you. If there's a squid in your brain, do I have one too?
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mel, the squid lady. Now, we did something called storyboarding before we started. And I want to tell you, Samantha's got some paper she's going to give to you for your very own storyboarding. When you think about what you're doing, people that make movies, they literally draw little boxes with each of the scenes and the main points in it that they intend to have. Those are for movies, but even for a 3-minute video, if you want it to be simple and something that you can just put together and flow with, take the guessing out of it, put all the things you want to say on a page. And if you only have 3 minutes, you pretty much need to know what you want to say. Who are you saying it to? What are you saying in front? So that's what Dr. Mel and I did. Dr. Mel's main points is she has a squid farm. She's on the mission. And she's working with some amazing people. And she's on her way to the mountain. Is that pretty clear? Pretty accurate?
Excellent.
Did you have like a lot that you want to say, or like how did you figure out where to have your storyboard start?
Oh, so I've been performing this and faking it for however long. This is the best video I've ever had. So I've got the one from 10 years ago that was me doing it all by myself. And it took 20 takes to get a no-take cut. I was like, didn't know how to edit. Having you do this with me through Zoom was one of those learning experiences that was profound, because I didn't understand why he was lining me up the way he was. I'm like, why would you want that much over there? And then I see the final product. I'm like, oh, now I get framing a little bit better. And the biggest thing I think we learned while we were going through it is, I was in Seattle, he's out here, we're on Zoom, and we figured out the sound, more or less, with my headphones. That was working, but I have this book that I'll show you guys in a minute with a glossy cover. Seattle does not normally have this problem, but the sun came out, and where I was outside, and the sun hitting the glossy cover of the book. Every time we realized that was going on, it's like, oh, okay, we have to move the car again, and can we get out of the sun? And Ben wasn't with me, so he couldn't say, okay, we're moving it here, this is the site location. So I want to really recommend, when you're trying to do your big sizzle reels, hire a professional. I can do my own stuff for the smaller stuff, but being able to get a really good sizzle reel so people will pay me money to speak takes a professional.
But at the same time, you've learned enough about framing,
Yes.
and you've learned enough about lighting,
Yes.
and enough about sound,
Yes.
and enough about storyboarding, which is only what you want people to know in 3 minutes, and why you want them to know it.
Yeah.
That, would you say that your videos are going to be?
Oh, it's definitely, I've got a lot more confidence that I can make stuff. I'm just still introverted enough now. I'm a closet introvert. So.
Who knew?
Anything else you want right now?
When we are doing our breakout to film, I was hoping you'd come out and I could partner with you.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to see how I film you, I would love for that.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
When we close up, that'll be cool.
And I have props. And handouts. If you like the 5 steps of squid, I have handouts.
Get ready. Thanks everybody for Dr. Mel. What I love about Dr. Mel's energy is the fact that she did have 1 versions of a video, and she had so many things she wanted to say. And that's when storyboarding really became important, because the number 1 thing that I looked at with Dr. Mel's passion and how many videos she had is she had so much information to share that she didn't know which things to put forward. And that's why with the framing exercise, I said, who are you? Where are you at? And what are you doing? Because if you have a place to start, it's very simple. And if you know that you're going to go ahead and have a why, I call it the why ramble from the heart, you can go ahead and make your points and know that you're going to ramble for a while. So you say everything you want, but you already have your main points down. Here's the coolest part about it. When you come back next week and we have your downloaded program, either iMovie for the iPhone or there's some other ones that we're going to have set through the subscription base from COCA, you guys can actually take 3 video clips or 5 video clips and edit it down to what you want. For example, Dr. Mel, she had a few B-roll things from just back in the day. I said, email me those clips and we can put those on the background when you're talking over it. Next week, you'll have that same ability. You can take 1 layer of just your voice and put some different video over it. You could also say, I don't like when I said, what was the name of that guy? You could say, so back in last Thursday, and then all of a sudden clip, because after that, you go, what was last Friday? And then you come right back into, I had the best dinner of my life, right? And it would be great if you had a little bit of B-roll, like you took a picture of your plate. We can drop, with this new program, that picture over your voice. Nobody knows we took out, well, what's last Friday? They see the picture of the plate, and they then hear what you said about how much you liked the dinner. And we're going to learn that all next Friday. It's going to be really simple. Again, these phones have made it so easy for us to make film and share it. So I'm excited about that. So last thing again, I'm going to reiterate with the storyboard.
Sketch a template. Be sure to have enough squares for as many shots as you want in your scene. In the first square, draw what you want your first shot to look like. Add a description beneath the square. The description includes the camera angle you're wanting to shoot the shot in, a snippet of dialogue from the scene, and a brief description of what's happening in that shot. Do this in all the squares from left to right until the scene is complete. And there you have it, a very quick and simple way to make a storyboard. I have an extended storyboarding tutorial. It's linked in the description of this short. That particular video gives access to a free storyboard template available for download, so be sure to check that out.
Last thing I'm going to tell you again is just repeat. The reason I say the why ramble from the heart is because it helps me write my main points. Because I'm like, well, I'm going to say it on my why anyway. What are the most important 3 points? I have 3 minutes. I try to make 1 point per minute. And I also say who I am as fast as I can. Unless who I am is part of one of the main points. Sometimes it is. If you have a cake store and you make cakes, you want to make a big deal about the fact that you're the cake person that makes the cakes, and that might be the whole point. And another point could be, and I'm having a big sale next Friday, and you should be there. And the final point is, and by the way, we are famous for these things, and bring a friend. Those could be your final points. And then you don't even need to spend a whole minute on each one. But if you do, you know you can edit part of it out to make room for your 1 minute why ramble. And the 1 minute from the heart. It's got to be from the heart. And I have so much ease because I know I'm going to talk from the heart for however long. And I'm just looking for gems. I'm just looking for sound bites. I only have 3 minutes. Does that make sense? And that's going to free up your creativity. And that's the way I've done it. there's a lot of other ways, but I would love it if you guys come back next week for some event that you guys at 6:30.
Are there any questions, comments, concerns?